Hello, hello, hello. How we doing?
Doing amazing. You have an amazing conversation to talk about. Welcome, everybody, to Rolodex and Topics. I always forget to introduce us. Um,
They can see the thing on the side. I think they figure it out. Um, so I'm not overly concerned about that. Hello, everyone. All right, yeah, we do have a topic today. I'm actually going to throw something in the chat here. Let me see if it does this accurately. It doesn't seem to. Oh, great. Let me go copy it again. Um, so let's fill in the space here because I'm going to have to copy something.
so, one of the great things about technology is it always works amazingly when you're live, and I love
Yeah,
that. One of the great things about going with it and winging it is that it's okay when technology decides to do what it wants to do.
there you go. And I think I figured it out. So apparently there's only so many, I lost my mouse now. There's only so many characters you can put in. So I'm putting the rest of the quote in here. There we go.
Hi,
All
Jeanette.
right.
Welcome. We love seeing you.
So today's topic is about looking at things glass half empty or glass half full, right? Do you have a negative mindset or do you have a positive mindset? And this guy is the guy from this quote is Rudy Francisco, not Ruby. So if you want to go find him, he does spoken word poetry. He does it way better. So I'm not going to try to read it. You guys can read it yourself or go find him saying it. But he talks about like the guy who had his arm stuck under a boulder for like 4 days and then he had to cut it off with a knife, himself. And it makes you just start thinking of like, yeah, maybe I have more choices than the guy under the boulder, right? I probably do, right? Like my life has more choices than that. And choice is that glass half full concept. When you can look at a situation and say, yeah, you know what? This sucks, right? But I have four choices. They may not always be great choices, but there are people in the world that don't have the choices that you have today. And in some ways, we need to be grateful for that. And that's where I want to start the conversation. What are you thinking about that, Brittany?
I think that it really comes into perspective. I answer calls on the weekend, and when I ask people, what is do you consider this an emergency? And they're very hesitant. Some people are like, yeah, I live in Florida and I have no air conditioner. It's hot. Some people are like, well, I mean, first world problems, but it is your problem. And you are hot or you are overheated. And then we have some people who are very upset at the question because they have elderly in the home or they have, some reason why this is a very emergent issue. And it's so it's hard because I have to repeat, "Hey, this is a question I have to ask you. I can't answer it. I can't judge your emergency," right? And that's the same thing with this. I can't judge your glass. You have to
No.
judge your glass.
And that's the thing. We each have to judge our own glasses. And we have to look at it and consciously, wow, I can say
Mhm.
that word. Say, am I going to look at this today with a positive light or in a negative light? And that's your first choice every single day, every single decision you make. And, we talked earlier today about um, you had a customer service situation today that you had to send a couple of scathing emails about, right? And we've all, and I've mentioned this on here before, and Comcast is probably going to hunt me down someday, but Comcast customer service, everyone has a story about their internet customer service, no matter what service provider you have, right? And you have to look at it like, okay, glass half full, I have access to internet, just not today. And there's still some countries in the world that don't even have that, right? Glass half empty is I don't have internet today and I have to go to Starbucks. Wait, I have to go to Starbucks to work? That's really not a bad choice, right? And so you start talking yourself into it and you're like, okay, maybe the glass is a little half full or a quarter full at least, right? And it's still empty because I won't have internet for a little bit. But positive thought processes can help. And going into the holidays when possibly you're spending time with family you don't necessarily want to, in larger groups situations that you're not comfortable in. Um, Maybe you're just not even the best gift giver, so you're worried what somebody is going to think of what you're giving them. Can cause a lot of times for us to look at a situation with a negative light before we even walk into it. Um, and having a few minutes in the morning or a few minutes before you step into a situation to say, I'm going to go in with a positive mental attitude, or whatever your version of that is, you can say an I don't give a care attitude, right? Like whatever it takes of that version of not getting upset with that situation can really be beneficial over the holidays. And what do you think?
Well, I was thinking about that as well. I was thinking, whatever phrase you use when you walk in the door is going to be what you take with you,
Sure.
right? So when you are overwhelmed because you couldn't get that perfect gift and you're nervous and you're angsty and or when you are, I don't care what my parents think about me, this is how it is and this is what it's going to be. When you
Sure.
walk into that room, a lot of it is take a moment to look at, I love and chose to be here,
Yes.
or I chose to be here and I chose to be here because of these great reasons, and hold on to those reasonings and not the negative reasons of why you probably didn't want to show up. So figure out how to align how
Mhm.
you carry yourself into a space. I requested somebody listen to one of my emails earlier, and my response was, "Hey, can you tell me if I sound like a B word?"
Sure. A random
And my
lunatic. We'll go with that.
and
So,
my and my response to them when I asked that question was, "I don't really mind either way. I just need to make sure the point is being made."
okay, that's funny.
So
Um,
so looking at what kind of presence do you really want to put into that, and what kind of energy are you putting into what you're doing is very important, as well as what side of the glass are you looking at.
oh wait, I think I put in it in the
I
pause.
fixed it. I already
Oh, you
fixed it.
fixed. Ah, see, you fixed it. That's funny. Okay.
I'm the half empty person and you're the half full person, so when I can assist you, it works so great.
Well, here's the problem. I didn't realize, and if anybody else cares, what are we using for this again? StreamYard.
StreamYard.
Um, so on StreamYard, I can privately apparently chat with Brittany while I'm talking to her. I'm not entirely sure why I would want to do that, but I can. And so she fixed it. So that's wonderful. Yes, half empty, half full positivity there. So, and it's
Hey,
funny because
shit.
I wouldn't have noticed for hours. I would have been like 3 episodes from now, I'd be like, wait, crap, 3 episodes ago I put it
Hey, Jeanette,
in."
we see your hey heys. We love you too.
We do, we do. We appreciate it. So anyways, we
Jeanette's our middle of the glass. She's the one
see
that
it's
like tips it to the fullest of full.
that is true. That is true. She definitely keeps us both on our toes. Um, and Oh, and she is making ornaments with puppies on them now. So I'm going to just say that really quick. If anybody wants ornaments with puppies, I mean, random puppies or your own puppies, she will make them for you. I think they're $10 now. I don't know. Check out our website. We'll put our website in the chat there. But back to
Creations
Uh,
of the heartart.com for those of you who are on LinkedIn, because it won't let me comment on LinkedIn.
oh yeah, yeah. Some of the different socials are a little weird with that. Um,
Bless
but
you.
no, that was
I know.
oh, sorry. Yeah, I'm in a room with someone else and he can't hear right now. He's got headphones on, uh but yeah, so that's all right. Back to the topic. My God, we just digressed really, really bad. So back to the topic and the quote. Some of the things I love about the quote, though, uh, is some of like the little intricacies of it. So Guardian Angel put their 2 week notice in 2 months ago and just declined to tell you, right? How many times have you been like, how many more bad things can happen this week? Why is no one watching me? Whether that's the person you're living with who should be helping, or the guardian on your shoulder, or God themselves, right? Like, you're just like, I shouldn't be left alone. I'm probably not an adult right now, right? And again, it's looking at things with a little bit of a funny attitude. Like, don't take it so seriously every time. And I keep bringing this back to the holidays because I know I've had quite a few conversations this week, but I know myself, um, we've all been in those holiday situations that are ones we don't want to be in. Most of mine have actually been like work related parties where I'm just like, why am I being forced to do this? Right? Why am I being forced to play reindeer games with people that I see for 8 hours a day? Right? And even then, though, it's all about networking. It's all about thinking of the positivity behind it, right? And eventually, you will find your people that you want to do Secret Santas with, and your people that, and I'm speaking out of turn here because we're not supposed to tell people yet, but you're going to find your people that you want to do those things with eventually. So you have to go into the ones that you don't necessarily want to go into with a positive attitude to get through them. Have you ever been to a weird company retreat or a company meeting?
I was the elf that wore a very inappropriate outfit to pass out gifts
Oh,
for company meeting. It was amazing. Anyways, but with that being said, right, reindeer games and things like that, when you are in an office environment and you're looking at those spaces, and I'm going to say this, look, I do not like the corporate world, and
mm,
I do not like I love small offices and I love when there's no petty in the office. And let's be honest, very rarely can you find those areas. But when you are offered those opportunities to have games with your coworkers and to really just be yourself as opposed to manager versus employee, or like tit for tat, this customer service versus this customer service. Those are spaces where your glass should be overflowing because you actually get to be a person with the person that you work with. And
in
at
some
times, that's difficult
I was gonna
because
say for
the
some people
person you
that's
work
hard.
with is not a very caring, kind person. And
Mhm.
so you have to suck it up, buttercup. And that's where this conversation comes in, right? As much as we wish that those spaces were overflowing and we could be grateful to have a relief in that space, you do sometimes have that. But then think of COVID when you couldn't even see anybody in the office.
Yeah, a
Which
lot of
we're all
people missed
grateful
it.
for, right? We're
Right.
all grateful for that we got to come home, but then there's some people who work better when they don't have 10 children around them, or when
Sure.
their spouse isn't requesting them to do stuff because they're home. So those, you take those and you look at what did it look like when we didn't have it, and how can I make this situation where it needs to be?
Well, and I agree, and I think if we look at situations and make the best choice for ourselves as often as we can, then, the last thing in that quote is drink it and stop complaining. Sometimes you just have to suck it up, buttercup, like you said. But if you know you have choice 90% of the time, the 10% won't be that bad. But if you don't make positive choices for you with your mental state as often as you can, that 10% is going to throw you for a loop. And it's going to be more than 10% on the back end. And so, whatever it takes for you to be positive, and I don't mean spike your hot chocolate, you know what I mean? I mean, take time. Well, I mean, if that's your thing, go for it. But if take the time before you have to go somewhere, take the time to relax, clear your head, get into a good mental state. Especially around the holidays, it's rush, rush, rush. You get somewhere, you were stressed before you left, and now you're more stressed when you walk in a door. Make sure you take that time for yourself. Um, and and sometimes, especially around the holidays, one of the ways to do that is to give back, right? Take yourself out of your situation for a minute. It's hard to get into some places to like do soup kitchens and stuff at the last minute. And, those are things that are hard to do. But go up to, you know, most Catholic churches, most malls have a tree that you can grab a thing off of and you can adopt a family for pretty, you know, limited costs. There's usually a variety of costs that you can do. But also simply clean out a closet and donate a bunch of stuff to Goodwill. A lot of families, that's where they're shopping for the holidays, is because that's what they can afford. Their kid wants Under Armour sweatshirts, and you know what? They're $5 at Goodwill, and they're $55 when you try to buy them online or more, right? And I just picked a brand name that I have a 15-year-old that seems to think that's a good brand. Um, but you get my point, right? You got to think about those ways that you can get out of your head, help some other people, and in a sense, it'll help your mentality too over the holidays.
I love that. And it's really great. We had this conversation earlier with Linda, really reaching out to your community, looking around. See, I know somebody, Cheryl, who does lives with us earlier in the week. She works with a food bank where they feed people once a week. They walk around. But I love the ideas of if you're choosing to not be around family or you're choosing to not be social because of whatever it is that holds your holidays hostage,
Hmm.
go assist other people who could utilize that help. And so there's a lot of different charities around. There's a lot of different ways that you can help. Like you said, reach out to a food kitchen, see if you can get on their list. Reach out to there's all kinds of if Food Bank of not Food Bank of the Rockies, that's in Colorado, but
There's food banks in every city and
yeah,
every
but
state.
it's the national there's a national food bank that's everywhere that helps the smaller food banks. And so when you look at that, you can see where you can serve them. They're always needing help. But really, if your glass is half empty in the holidays, see where you can kind of spend it in spaces where you're doing good for yourself.
And trying to fill up your cup a little bit.
Yep,
Hmm.
exactly. We appreciate all of you very much. We are, like always, over time. Um, and it's on that side, over there.
It's somewhere. Find the QR code,
Go
click on one
QR
of the
code
QR
us.
code.
We love you all. Thank you very much. And we will see you next week with a little bit more sanity, but
Maybe. I
maybe
don't know. I don't like sanity, so it's fine.
not, right? Yeah.
All right. It's still
So
fun.
we'll see you guys later. Have a great day.